Okay, I know what you're thinking about this kid. You'd wish to be happy as he is. But the truth is, if you knew what this kid had been through after this video was uploaded online, you'd never wish to be him. After this video, this kid's life became a living hell. The Star Wars kid was regarded as one of the first viral videos to ever hit the internet. And it is also one of the first instances of cyberbullying to ever appear online. But where is he now? What happened to him? And what can we learn from his story? I am Raza, and today we're going to discover where is Star Wars kid now. Back in 2002, a 50-year-old teenager named Raza set up a camcorder to tape himself at his high school studio, making a parody of Star Wars, as he and his friends will usually do. In one take, this young kid decided to let loose, mimicking Darth Maul from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, as he swung around a golf ball retriever like a dual lightsaber. Raza accidentally left the camera with the tape in a basement, forgetting about the Star Wars video that he did. This tape will stay hidden from the world for months, until his classmate Jerome, you know what, I ain't even pronouncing this French ass name, until his classmate who used the camera discovered the video and showed it to his friend Jean-Michel Roth, who imported the tape into a computer. The distributing of this video started as a snowball effect from a couple of sent emails with this video attached in them, which these emails sent this video to another emails, and so on and so on. Created a whole network. One of these emails took the video and uploaded it to Raza, and a whole another group of 3 to 4 other students uploaded the video with the title Jackass Star Wars Funny.wmv. You know, people were not creative back then. The video became viral through P2P services, but one of the first who uploaded the video online and later on YouTube was blogger Andy Bio, who named the video Star Wars Kid, changing Raza's life forever. Remember this name for later, alright? Many will see this story and assume a happy ending for Raza and start to fame and happiness, but that's far from the truth. Because for the world, this video brought enjoyment, but for its protagonist, it was only the start of his downward spiral into misery. See, being internet famous meant something else back in the day. The internet was a wild west without regulations and restrictions, meaning that people were ruthless, and honestly, they didn't give a fuck. Being internet famous meant that you were a circus freak, not a celebrity like today. I mean, they still look like circus freaks today, but there are so many people online that you are going to see fan base made for them. Even for the most obscure things, there's a couple of people that are gonna be huge fans for it. Micro celebrities that get famous in a week wouldn't exist in an environment like the old internet. Empathy was non-existent, and while haters still exist, there are gonna be people who will show empathy today. Within just 2 weeks, the video ended up becoming so viral that Raza himself became so famous that he started to be recognized in real life. So he had to endure the constant harassment and mental abuse from both the internet and his classmates at school. After the video, his life became hell as he was treated like a circus freak, with people following him everywhere, even going outside of his house, trying to take pictures through the window blinds. For Raza, understandably, this whole thing became unbearable, with every day being more distorted, and Raza and his family not being able to handle the pressure of being watched and harassed pushed him to the limit, leading him to the hard decision of dropping out of school. He was diagnosed with depression and finished the year at a psychiatric ward for children. While the rest got to enjoy their teenage years, Raza was forced to pursue private tutoring, losing friends in the process. To further abstain himself from this video and the remixes that were done, he stopped using the internet altogether. He returned to high school for his senior year and went on with a lot of caution and stress to finish schooling. To further abstain himself from his video and the remixes that were done, he stopped using the internet altogether. He eventually returned to high school for his senior year and went on with a lot of caution and stress to finish schooling. While Raza's life was crumbling, the video was viewed 900 million times by the end of 2006, making it the most watched video ever at the time. And people were still going with the animations, memes, and edits. There's a real contrast to today's standards. TikTok makes edits out of everything. But back in the day, you will really have to be interested in something to edit it for hours with old PCs instead of the easy iPhones of today. Many will see the story of Raza and use it as a cautionary tale of what the internet can do to someone so innocent and young, and consider the story done. To be honest, when I read the story, I couldn't help but feel a bitter taste in my mouth. This couldn't be the end. Our protagonist couldn't give up, right? Life is but a game of patience, and Raza waited long enough for his comeback. Raza and his family made the decision of fighting back and filed a $250,000 lawsuit against the families of his former classmates, blaming them for the harassment and derision from his high school mates and the public at large, and will be under psychiatric care for an indefinite amount of time. That number made the family scared. The lawsuit was scheduled to begin trial on April 10th, 2006, but 3 days before, on April 7th, Raza and his parents reached an out-of-court settlement with the defendants. Raza looks back at the incident, now saying, quote, "If I'd committed the crime, I'd have been better protected. Laws prevent the release of underage names with criminal act. I was completely exposed for the video I never consented to the release of." And the sad thing is that he's right. So, to answer the question, where is he now? After the settlement, Raza did the wise thing. He didn't let the past overcome him or use it for any excuse possible to linger. Instead, he chose to move on, using the lost money to go to college and get more knowledge. And the settlement money must have been real good, because he studied on one of Canada's best schools, McGill University, where he received a doctorate on law. Man, it's insane. Surely this whole experience with humanity's worst traits will leave someone cautious and secretive. Until May 2013, he maintained a low profile and avoided any connection with the Star Wars Kids video. But eventually, his identity was discovered through other means. During his low-profile era, he received numerous invitations from various late-night and talk shows. But as we all know by now, Raza was pretty wise to decline the offer, as they would display him as a circus freak, a same treatment he received from the internet already. Real convenient for shows to reach out to Raza, as if the guy didn't have already such a low view on humanity, because the first thing he needed was a lesbian James Corden to laugh at him. That's perfect. During the 10 years that the meme circulated across the internet, Raza became the president of the Patrimoine Trois-Rivières, a conservation society aiming to preserve the cultural heritage of the town of Trois-Rivières, making a name of himself outside the internet, proving to himself that he is more than what the world make of him. Good job, man. Like, I'm proud. Raza didn't speak about his experience until 2013, after a wave of high-profile suicides due to cyberbullying. As patient zero for cyberbullying, there couldn't have been a better person to talk about it. He looked back at his experience, saying, "No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't ignore commenters telling me to kill myself." One of these commenters called him a pox on humanity. What the fuck is wrong with people? Raza talked about his situation again fairly recently. In fact, 2 years ago, in 2022, he participated in a documentary called Star Wars Kid: The Rise of Digital Shadows, released by the National Film Board of Canada. I don't want to get copyrighted, but in general, the film talks about the idea of digital footprint, as we say, the trace that someone has on the internet and how it can follow us. It's actually a good film, and you should check it out if you want to learn more about our dude. The film received a Canadian Screen Award nomination at the 12 Canadian Screen Awards in 2024, like this year. So that's pretty awesome, I guess. To any Canadians, if you watch this video, tell me if these awards have the same importance in Canada as the Oscars have, because if they do, it will help me to be more happy for Raza. Honestly. One thing that was interesting to me in this film was a man named Andy Bayo, the guy that I told you to remember for later. Remember this name. You know, Andy Bayo, a significant factor in Raza's downward spiral into misery, eventually grew up and became the CTO of Kickstarter. Yeah, he quickly felt terrible about posting the video. He said that he sees himself and all his friends in Raza. There was so much interest in the video that he posted a request for more information about the dude behind it. 3 high school students came forward to say proudly that they had released the tape, originally recorded in a school studio. Adebayo suggested that the internet audience try to compensate Raza for having been subjected by the worst of the internet. Adebayo wanted to raise $400, but by the end of the fundraising drive, They had raised more than $4,300. More than 400 individuals and groups contributed to the Ghislaine Fund. A Darth Maul lightsaber replica, signed by Star Wars actor Ray Park, a t-shirt from Industrial Light and Magic, the firm that supplied the Star Wars special effects and software programs and games. Andy Baio went to his blog, disabled the comments on his post, and pinned his own, which said, "Yes, he's fat and awkward, we get it." Since 90% of the internet to these videos is coming from gaming, technology, and Star Wars news websites, I'm guessing that most of you weren't any cooler in junior high school than this poor kid. All you geeks, nerds, and dorks out there need to think twice before trusting one of your own. Which, you know what? He's been there, being hereditary allegations. Overall, Andy Baio felt immense guilt about being an instrument at Raza's misery, constantly asking for forgiveness from Raza. Raza could have chose the easy way, that of hate, but he understood that it's not Andy Baio's fault that the video became what it did, calling him an apathetic person who simply erred in judgment. They both handled the situation in the right manner, Raza with forgiveness and Andy Baio with the sorrow that comes from guilt. You know how I truly understand that Raza is a better person than anyone else in this whole situation? Because if I were him, I wouldn't forgive anyone. The fact that one of the main reasons of our misery did an interview with me in order for him to feel like he is not guilty, $4,300? $4,300? I would beat the living shit out. I would be like, man, shit, dog. You're like the CTO of Kickstarter. Buy me a house. Buy me BMW. Buy me some coke. At least do something for your money, not anyone else's. The fact that he used donors to donate money to him is disrespectful and a hint that he doesn't really feel guilt. Because why would you buy something to the victim of your mistake with somebody else's money? Did the donors make the choice of uploading the video online? No. Andy Baio did. Andy Baio gave him the name that scarred him for life. So the least he could do is buy something from his own money. You don't buy your remorse with somebody else's money. Even let Raza punch him. This apology to Raza seems not enough, and it feels kind of insincere to me, which in contrast makes Raza's forgiveness even more powerful. I think that Raza knows that this man doesn't mean his apology, but still, he chose to forgive him, not for his sake, but for his own. He didn't forgive him just so Andy can feel like he is not guilty about Raza's misery, but he did it to let the situation end. How can a person change if he's still spiteful of the past? Why should we let the past lose its label? Call it a Vinland Saga type of story. But the biggest question is the most unexplainable. Why Raza became viral in the first place? What was it that made people so obsessed with him to the point of stalking? Because the Star Wars kid is you. He's a silly friend that you had back in high school. When people watch Star Wars kid, it reminded them of someone who was real. This kid that bounces around is every one of us. It represents a version of ourselves that is free, not bound by everyone else and their opinions. Why do you think that most of the first people who watched the video were geeks and nerds? These people were the reason that this video became viral. And it wasn't by chance. Them nerds saw themselves in that kid. When you watch the representation of yourself being free without caring about anything else, while you are sitting around being afraid to be who you really are, then how would you feel? The people who watched this kid were hateful because these nerds and geeks saw something that they didn't have in Star Wars kid. And so they left these spiteful comments and it spiraled into this situation, and it was anonymous too, so no harm, no foul, right? It is really sad that it started like this, but this video became a template for early internet virality. It was short, easily shareable, and evoked strong reactions, making it perfect for spreading around. It started something that will eventually lead to the fame of TikTok today. A big reason that TikTok is the Goliath that it is today is because of this kid who set the precedent of short form content. So if it wasn't for Raza, I don't think that TikTok would even exist or even be as powerful as it is today. When I first searched about the Star Wars kid, I was sure that I was going to see someone let the past define him, a man that let the world affect him so much the outcome would be pitiful to watch. But the more I learn about Raza, the more I am proud of him. Since then, the internet has changed. From the comfort of anonymity, we went to an era that no one hides their face easily anymore. People are still pieces of shit online, But at least today, there are consequences for being one. The world changed too, and it became more empathetic to people like Raza. Today, if you go to any version of the Star Wars Kid video online, the comments have a strikingly different tone. The jokes are still there, yet more people support him. It's a rare glimmer of positivity in an ordinarily toxic internet culture. But the problem still exists. Even today, we see more cases of people who had their consent breached by the internet. And the only way this changes is not by changing the internet of what it truly is, but changing our thinking. Raza's story is an important one on the legacy of the internet. Its situation is modern, but its solution is old-fashioned, which is become more than what people say you are. When met with all the world against you, who you got left? You. So be you. Do more. Be more. Don't let the world define you. And be a little silly sometimes. I'm Lara. See ya. Love ya. Oh my fucking god. So hot. Oh my fuck.